My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for Dave Dubeau. And have you ever thought about achieving a mortgage-free lifestyle through real estate investing? Today, my guest, Aleksey here, he's not only accomplished that, but also mastered the art of long-term cash flow in properties. Welcome to the show, Aleksey. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about how you got started. You know, what got you interested in real estate in the first place?
Well, I'm a immigrant, so I landed in Canada in 22, and I started doing a whole bunch of interesting things, MLMs, businesses, whatever, just searching for everything. Eventually, after failures and failures and failures, I said, you know what, everything is saying about real estate, so let me try just buying a real estate for myself. And that was basically 2 years after I landed in Canada. And I started joining every single possible real estate club that's out there. Eventually, I settled to a local club that wasn't really far away. And I started coming for months after months after months after months, but nothing really was happening. Eventually, and then all of a sudden, after 4 months, there was a big show up, and this guru, what do you call it? This lady showed up. She was probably in her 50s, maybe 60s. And all of a sudden she starts talking about that she's investing in real estate in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. I said, okay, I never heard this city. And how many do you have? And she started talking about what she does and blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what? This is so great. And everybody got so interested. And I raised the question. I said, when are you going next to Sault Ste. Marie? And she said, this weekend. I said, can I go with you? And off we drove to Sault Ste. Marie, looked at around the properties, looked at a bunch of things. And then eventually I started buying real estate in Sault Ste. Marie. I started buying in Toronto. I started buying in GTA. And little did I know that I was buying a whole bunch of things. I was so enthusiastic that I got even 2 JV partners. And eventually I said, you know what, this is way too fast. Then I got married, I got kids, blah, blah, blah. And eventually I exited the Sault Ste. Marie market. And now I focused on long-term real estate that appreciates as the most. Is that's what I learned is really Sault Ste. Marie was great, but it was cash flowing, but it wasn't really growing. So I said, you know what, I don't want to have real estate that just cash flows. I want to have something that appreciates as well as cash flowing.
Right.
So changing the type of properties, I understood what I do not want after a couple of tenths. And, you know, I've been doing this for about 12, 13 years. Eventually, I achieved ability to fully pay off my mortgage, which is, I think, is what I originally wanted. You know, when you start, you write all your goals, financial freedom, blah, blah, blah. I think at least one of them, which is mortgage freedom, is already checked off, if I choose to. So if I sell all my rentals, I'm definitely going to be able to cover my full mortgage. I choose not to. I believe it's probably going to appreciate, all of the rental real estate will probably appreciate better than that usage. But here we are 12 years later, and essentially 16 years in Canada, and I'm doing pretty well.
So any sort of challenges along the way that that you can recall? I want to give
So
up or
yeah,
something.
there's always challenges, obviously. So the main challenge is obviously you need to have money or down payment and financing. So right now, as I grew, maybe down payments used to, at least I could be able to find it, but now it's both. So before it was only the down payment that was a problem. Financing was mostly taken care of, but now I'm hitting the both ceilings, both on
Mm-hmm.
down payment and finance it. So essentially, JV partners is the only way to go further if I choose to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but having four kids is I'm actually pretty occupied or taking a lot of that takes a lot of time as well. So
Definitely.
I do remember when I started without the kids, it was like I was a beast machine that just tried to do every single thing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm able to at least accomplish a couple of things in my real estate career in a week, then I give myself a big thumbs up.
Yeah, it's can be a little challenging balancing, especially when they're young. They take a lot
Yeah,
more energy.
lots.
Because I had my son's going to be 4 this year, and before that, I had a teenage. She was older. The daughter was older, so now she's turning 18 and he's turning 4. So once they're in their teens, a lot
Yep,
easier because they can just be left to their own
yep,
devices.
yep.
But yeah, when they're young, for sure. So, um, what's next for the future plans here? What does 2024 look like? You mentioned a little bit there that you can't really grow without any sort of partners. Are you planning to get more partners and
Yeah.
to
So
expand
I
that?
did my first pre-construction and I did it at the worst time when just before the interest went up. I decided to do my first pre-constructions, thought that would be a good attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out to be a disaster, so I eventually had to call my relatives to help me close. So I'm closing this property in a couple of weeks, month.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, I'm pretty much maxed out on everything. I'll probably, so in total, there's going to be so much, like my depth is, the ceiling is so high that I'll probably, my goal for 24 is just to pay it as much as off and start like just refinance probably or wait for the interest rates to come down because all of them are pretty high, all of my mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, all I'm doing is I'm just setting up the funds for the next deal. That's you always want to have that extra cash lying around when the deal comes. You want to
Mm-hmm.
purchase it.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, are you more of a find the deal and then go get the money, or do you prefer to have your money lined up and then go looking for deals?
I typically find that I find a deal and then I kind of stretch it myself for doing whatever I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I actually able to close on it.
Yeah, definitely. So, what are you doing to fund the next deal?
So right now my focus is really just to close currently. So whatever is happening in a month. After that, I will probably uh, I do have one property that I haven't refinanced for a long time. Most likely that's going to be a source of my next down payment is I'm simply going to refinance it and pull some
Mm-hmm.
money there and that kind of a strategy. So I've probably done that a lot of times in the beginning. When I buy a property, do a little bit of fix upper, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually within 2 3 years, pretty much pull the capital, most of the capital out of that deal, and use that capital to buy a next property. So that used to work a lot well.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just stretched way too much. So I don't think so when I start doing my own calculations of all these step ratios that mortgage brokers are calculating, even I see that they're way too high. So that's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna work. So I'm actually have no clue other than finding JV partners, I don't really see any other potentials. But what I see is that if you go to a lot of clubs, real estate clubs, you meet a lot of people, and I find that a lot of them are searching for JV partners.
Mm-hmm.
And you understand that you're in that space where in order to achieve that, well, I did have JV partners. I understand how it goes, but I realized that there's a lot of people who are attempting to or wanting to have those JV partners, but
Mm-hmm.
in reality, the pool of the people who are willing to do that is on the other side, basically becoming a JV partner to a guru is not that big. So you are competing against a lot of other folks in the same space, and you need to really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that if I want to do something like that, you have to really commit. You have to commit to this business. You
Mm-hmm.
have to stand out. You have to be like very focused
Mm-hmm.
and propel that genuine leadership and genuine expert of what you are doing in this business.
Is that what you're doing right now to kind of separate yourself? Is putting that on display, or what are you doing
No,
to kind
I
of
do
make it?
not. I used to run a local real estate club for about 3 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of realized that I'm not able to monetize it in any way possible. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's fun to run it. It's fun to meet
Yeah.
people, to motivate them. But other than that, eventually I said, you know what, let's just close it because it's just not working out. Uh, it was called PCP Club, or Positive Cashflow Properties Club.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it was that was kind of my idea of probably I closed it about 5 years ago. That was
Mm-hmm.
one of my ideas to stand out, to be to having that real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Running a club is always a good way to show an expertise. But then again, kids took over. And you know what? It came to a point of, okay, well, what is your priority?
Mm-hmm.
And me and my wife decided that family is probably more important than trying to achieve greatness.
Yeah, it's usually there's a balance there that can sometimes go sideways, and um yeah, the balance richness is defined in a couple different ways. So are you going to open the club back up? Have you been attending other clubs?
I've been mostly attending something online. I've been mostly attending, well, when the pandemic hit, everything pretty much closed.
Yeah.
I find that it was actually pandemic actually worked very well for me because when the real estate prices went through the roof, that's
Mm-hmm.
when I offloaded a lot of bad properties. It's just everybody was just buying like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it was
Couldn't
very
miss.
strange to see because it was nobody wanted them 2 years ago, and all of a sudden everybody's just jumping and buying everything. But no, I probably will have to, if I do decide to go for JV partners, I'll have to basically uh, commit to maybe 3 real estate clubs
Mm-hmm.
a month, attend, speak out, network, uh, exchange business cards, and then follow up, follow up, follow up. I do what I found is that a lot of times it's easy, like there's a lot of folks out there that have the money but are kind of on the edge for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that I had one of those partners that were sitting sort of on the line or kind of Not sure, they were afraid to pull the gun kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once they did the deal with me, then they did a whole bunch of other deals on their own, and that's how they succeeded. So I
Mm-hmm.
find probably what my niche will be is finding those people who are sort of attending these clubs for relatively long time, but are kind of hesitant to make those choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's and once you show them, like, I don't think so. If an individual sees how it's done, unless they have completely zero time, they'll probably be able to reproduce the whole formula on their own for the next property. So
Mm-hmm.
one of my problem niches to find and help that first deal, have that establish that
Break
first
the ice.
breaking the ice. And yeah, if the person ever comes back and decides to do another deal, that's great. I don't anticipate that that's going to actually happen, but that I think that that's probably the easiest niche to go through, is to find people who are kind of ready, but kind of at the same time hesitant and been there for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. So when you look at everything you've done in real estate, what do you think your secret sauce is? What comes easy to you that um, other people might find difficult?
I'm just not afraid. What I find is a lot of folks, like when I started very early, like I remember I was attending a club. I was 23, 24,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else was in 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And their net worth was like through the roof compared to mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I was giving them advice. And uh, the reason why I was doing that is I wasn't afraid. I didn't have really anything to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of mistakes. And when you're young and when you're have a lot of energy, when you make mistakes, they don't hurt you as much as when
Yeah, you
you
can
do that.
bounce back.
Yeah, that you can bounce back very easily. So I learned very, like, obviously I lost some money when I made those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is because I was able to make those mistakes early on,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand what doesn't work or what will not work. I kind of no longer, like, I don't have that fear. Like most of
Mm-hmm.
the people have this, either they're hesitant because they have fear of losing out,
Mm-hmm.
or they are just hesitant because they're procrastinating. I
Yeah.
never had any of those two. So I was just jumping on every opportunity that I had, learning everything. I tried to do tax sales. I tried to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, whatever didn't work, I kind of said, you know what, that doesn't seem to be making uh, not right for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, and eventually I settled, you know what, the easiest things is just to buy and hold. All the
Mm-hmm.
other
Mm-hmm.
things that exist there, yeah, they sound a lot of like they sound very sexy, but
A lot of work.
at the end at the end of the day, you make majority of your uh, income or wealth by just holding. That's just the reality of things.
Mm-hmm. So, as far as real estate this year, you're just holding it out and making sure that you find some JV partners as well as connecting with people who want to get started, get their first deal done. So if people do want to connect with you, they want to find out more, what should they do? How do they find you?
That's a great question. I actually did not expect this question. Uh,
Well, they've got your email here
yeah,
on the
I
screen.
guess, yeah, you can just email me. I will be able to help you out or even consult. I remember I was consulting a lot of people who were just saying, you know what, I think this is a great deal, but I'm kind of wondering your opinion on it. Yeah, I can just my email. My email will be fine.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by and letting people know about there's a couple of things in there that I thought were pretty interesting where you had to close the club and make a decision. And, sometimes you have to do that with the work-life balance. You have to decide, okay, like what are we doing this all for? Like
Yep.
you're gonna spend all your time and miss your kids growing up if you spend every night at real estate clubs. So really appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.